So the question is, how do I create a year-to-date formula? As part of that, I'm going to explain how to do a single period balance, how to do a balance sheet balance, how to do a year-to-date balance, and how to do multi-period balances. So for a single period, it's super easy. Choose a sub, choose the range of accounts. I'm having to use January 2023 because I know there's data in there. So for a single period, we should probably change the label for this at some point, and rather than just calling it from period, we should come up with a better name, because when you enter a single period, it's not really from period, it's just the period. So here I'm going to do a P&L balance of all the 4 codes for January 2023. Let's copy that sideways and let's turn that into a year-to-date balance. So this is where the 2 period comes in. So let's do the same thing. Let's call it April 2023. Because I'm running it from January through to April, when I click on OK, this is now a April year-to-date balance. And obviously you wouldn't hard code the period names. You know, typically you would have them in the header somewhere. And again, we recommend using formulas to actually populate those. And if you've ever seen our standard demo, we go through the process of how to build out your periods. Have a look on YouTube and look at some of the demo videos we've got there. It walks you through how to build an entire period-based P&L. So because we're running January through to April, that's now year-to-date April. Last piece of the jigsaw is balance sheet. How do we do balance sheet? So balance sheet slightly different from P&L in that the way NetSuite stores its data is always based on the delta for the month. So if I enter just January, what I'm actually seeing is the delta for January, which for the P&L is the P&L balance. But for the balance sheet, or for any balance sheet accounts, sorry, it's the movement on the P&L, on the balance sheet, sorry, rather than the balance sheet balance. So if you want the balance sheet balance, NetSuite doesn't actually store it, so you have to calculate it. And the way you do that is you simply go back to the beginning of time and roll from the beginning of time all the way through to the period that you want to report against. When I click on OK, again, we go off, aggregate the data, and this is now the balance sheet balance. Sorry, this is now the balance for all of my 4 codes. Now, again, this is a P&L code, so arguably I'd want that to be a balance sheet code. So let's switch that from all the 4 codes, for example, to all of the 1 codes. And there we go. That's our balance sheet balance for our, I think it's our assets section of the balance sheet in this particular example. Now, there's other uses for periods. So if we go to the original year-to-date calculation and copy it down instead of across, if I were to edit those periods, let's say I wanted to make it May 2023 through to July 2023, I can actually aggregate together almost ad hoc months or ad hoc blocks of time. So you're not limited to just period to date, and so on. You can actually pick any range of data and aggregate that. So if you want to do quarterly reporting, you can set it from the start of the quarter to the end of the quarter. If you want to do 6 monthly reporting, from the beginning of the 6 months to the end of the 6 months. If you have different financial years that you need to report, so let's say you want to do a calendar year report and you want to do a fiscal report, again, just play with your periods to best match the style of report that you need to produce, and the period functionality should just look after you.